Up until 3 years ago, we were all exclusively boy moms. We spent years debating if we should stop at 2 boys or try for that baby girl. Deciding to have that third baby is such a huge deal. So today we're chatting with a special guest who has 3 beautiful boys from ages 10 to 16. She's sharing the ins and outs of being a boy mom. Welcome to Mamas and Mimosas. I'm Marianne.
I'm Roni.
I'm Janelle.
We can't thank you enough for hanging with us today. Now go grab your drink, pop in those earphones, especially if you have little ones around, and let's dive right into episode 31.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh my god, it's gonna get deep, guys.
A shit show, a pure shit show. It literally takes a village.
I don't know if it was dirty or clean.
Oh my god.
Bad mom. Like
yeah.
the movie. Yes, because I'm shining. Woo! That was good, guys.
All right, ladies. So today's guest is Kathryn from the Moms Unwined Podcast. We're going to ask you some frequently asked questions from our listeners. But first, tell us about yourself.
Hi, ladies. Thank you so much for having me on. My name is Kathryn, and I have the Moms Unwined Podcast. I am raising 3 boys. One is 10, the other one is 13, and the other one is 16. And yeah, on my podcast, we just talk about motherhood.
You know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so did you know that we're going to talk about how you have 3 boys and the boy mom life and all of that good stuff. So did you know that you always wanted kids when you were younger, or is this something that you were just blessed with 3 beautiful boys?
I wanted 1, and then I got blessed with 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I only wanted 1. Yeah.
That's cool. And so what made you decide to keep going?
We just kind of had them.
It just kind of happened.
Yes. So I tell them that they're my 3 beautiful mistakes.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
That's hilarious.
They were all unplanned.
So when you planned for your 1 kid, did you want a boy or a girl, or did it not matter to you?
So he actually wasn't planned either. He was
a surprise. Let's say a surprise.
He was a surprise. Yes, surprise. But I did want a girl. So yeah, I did want a girl. Yeah, I've always wanted a girl. So.
Okay.
But yeah, they're all awesome. Being a boy mom is awesome. I think because I'm more tomboyish, it kind of works for me. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was one of the questions that we wanted to ask, because I know that some moms who are more on the girly side or like the fashionista side are like, I don't even know what to do with the boy, or I wouldn't know what to do with the boy. How do you shop for a boy and all that stuff? So
it is hard.
Do you feel like it makes a big difference?
I think when they were younger, it was easier to shop for them because whatever I liked, I could throw on them.
Yeah.
But now that they're older, they have a style of their own, and the things that I liked, they don't like it anymore. So
They're like, no, Mom,
they're like, no.
Complete opposite.
Yeah, and they're sneaker kid boys, so they love sneakers, and I don't know anything about sneakers.
And that gets expensive.
Yes, thank God Dad's there.
I was going to say, do they get that from their dad, the sneaker part? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something that they bond on, and I'm out.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay, so now we know that your boys were all surprises, basically. Yes. They were not planned, right?
No, yeah.
So how did you feel when you were getting the news that it was like a boy after boy after boy?
So, yeah, I cried the second time. I did.
At the doctor's office?
Yes, when she was like, I teared. And then the third time I made her check again because I was like, are you sure? But I did have a miscarriage in between my middle and my third son. So that was, I think that was my girl. I forgot, there's this rare disease that only girls get, and usually it'll end up being, you'll end up miscarrying in the first trimester or second trimester, and that's what happened. I was 5 months.
Really? You did it 2 times? You miscarried 2 times or once?
Just once. Just once. And they couldn't find the heartbeat. Oh. And then, it was pretty devastating, but, it is what it is.
That's always tough to deal with. I experienced 2 miscarriages also, so I know that feeling is very devastating.
It is, for sure.
So what made you decide that you were done at 3?
I kept getting pregnant. And I was done after having the miscarriage and then having another son after. I was just like, you know what? I'm done. I was 28 and I ended up tying my tubes because I just didn't want any more babies. Kind of now that I'm older, I regret it a little bit. Do you?
That was my question. I was going to ask, how do you feel now? Like, do you get the baby blues and you're like, I kind of want a baby, but
I do.
Once you get your tubes tied, can't that get reversed? Can that be
reversed? It can, but I think I burned them, clipped them, everything that could
you were like
be done. I was like done. Do whatever you need to do. Yeah. I was done. But I always hoped for that girl, Mm-hmm. So that's every now and then I'm like, oh, kind of wish I had, but I'm getting a puppy girl. So I guess that's
you'll get your girl.
Exactly.
So how old was your baby was your youngest when you got your tubes tied?
How old was I?
No, how old was your youngest?
Oh.
Or was it right after you had them? Right when you gave birth, they did it right then and there?
Oh,
yeah.
They usually do it. They usually do it while you're open. They're like, they take the baby and then they do it right then and there.
Like it's something that's pre-planned?
Yes, it was pre-planned. Yeah.
Now I want to ask you this really quick. Did they make your husband sign for you to do
consent?
That?
No.
I know I thought about getting mine tied at one point, and they were like, oh, well, your husband has to sign too. And he was like, I'm not signing that shit. So I couldn't get him. So I'm like, what? Since when does he get to decide what I do?
Her husband wants a whole soccer team. So that's...
Wow. No, I don't think he did. He didn't have to sign, which is interesting.
That's nice. I don't think they should have to.
Yeah, it's your body.
Exactly.
That's...
I had to sign when my husband got his vasectomy.
See?
Oh, really?
So maybe it's just different doctors.
But I also heard it's depending on the situation, your guys' age, they're going to ask for the consent. I guess if you're a younger couple with only one child or something, they'll ask for both parties to sign or whatever. And then if you're older and your kids are way older, I think it's less of a concern. That's what I thought I heard. I don't know if it's true or not.
Makes sense. Maybe because I had 3 already. They were like, yeah, no problem. We got you. I don't know. Because we were pretty young. I was only 28. And they were asking me are you sure you want to have your tubes tied? I was like, absolutely. There's no way. But,
Okay, so how many years later did you start feeling like you were thinking it?
You wish you didn't do it?
I want to say 12 years later. A long time. Recently. I'm just I could have another, but not happening.
Did you ever consider adopting?
Yes. I would.
Would you still adopt now?
Maybe not right now. I feel like we have our hands full with the boys, and I feel like I'm just starting to get the flow again of working. So I feel like it would be too much for me right now. I think I finally owned where I am in my life, Okay. But maybe later in a couple years, I'm always open to
adoption. That's cool.
That's such a huge process too.
It is.
It's long too. I've heard it's years.
I wonder why, and it's super expensive too. I feel like I don't understand.
It's hard,
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
If they have so many kids in the system, why do they make it so hard for people?
They want to make sure they don't get returned.
But they make it so easy for you to foster. And it's sad because there's so many foster parents that are in it just for the money or for the wrong reasons, you know, and they're abusing the kids and stuff. So I feel like that they should make that a little harder, you know? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree 100%.
Okay, so was it hard for you to let go of your dream for having a daughter?
Yes, it was.
Can you speak on that a little bit to all our mamas out there? Because I feel like we have a lot of boy moms listening.
Yeah, this was requested a lot for the boy moms.
Yeah, I just, you know, I have 3 boys and they're beautiful. So I kind of, a part of me also feels like I'm being selfish and ungrateful by not just being happy with what I have. You know, the fact that I have 3 and there's a lot of women out there who are trying, who can't get pregnant. I hear a lot about the stories with IVF not working and stuff. So I just try to like stay present and just be grateful for what I have. And just kind of like, I got a girl puppy.
Right, exactly. That's a good way to look at it, though. Look at the positive in it, and like sometimes we usually reflect so much on the negative, but we have to like be grateful for what we do have.
Yeah, so that's where I try to stay.
So, so me personally, when I had my 2 boys, we were on the fence for like 4 years whether or not we should go for another baby and try for that girl, and then also make sure that we were okay with having that 3rd boy if it was, you know, another boy. But I feel like I went through like emotional roller coaster and like it was just heavy on my mind all the time. Did you go through that, or was I just weird?
No, I don't think you're weird. I think that, you know, it's hard to let go of that, you know, that dream of having your girl. And it's also scary because, I mean, I could have, well, no, because I tied my 2s, but if I didn't, who knows, I might have had 4 boys. You know, it's just, I don't know. I don't think that you're crazy for it. I think that it's just a hard thing to let go of, right? So that's when you start thinking about fostering and adoption and stuff like that. And then I also thought about my sons having girlfriends and stuff, and then I could be like a mentor to them, I guess, or something like that, you know? Yeah. I don't know. I figured I'd get my fill other way. Oh, and I take all my friends' daughters. I do that too.
That's to get your fix.
Yes.
What's crazy is you had to make that decision while you were pregnant, right? Because you got it tied right after. So that's why it's like, I don't know if I could even think about that. Like while I was pregnant, like when I'm pregnant, I'm like all over the emotionally.
Yeah.
I definitely was too. I'm impulsive sometimes. So I think I was just done having babies.
And your husband was like all on board, or was he like wanting to try more, or no?
No, he was like, whatever you want. We had 3. It was a lot for us. And we were 28 at the time. Like it was a lot.
That's true. Yeah. When I was pregnant with my 2nd boy, my camera's bounced.
Yeah, I'm like, Janelle, your camera is dancing, girl.
When I was pregnant with my 2nd boy, I actually asked the doctor to give me C-section papers in the event if I had to, not C-section, to get my tubes tied, so the paperwork. Because I told them if I had to have a C-section, then I would want them to give me, oh my God, what is that called?
It's tubal ligation, I believe, right?
Yes. Yeah. There you go. So we did do that, but we didn't end up going through with it because I ended up having a natural delivery. So then the deal was if I had a natural delivery, my husband was going to have a vasectomy.
And he was going to have it.
He went and had his consultation, but, you know, we just went back and forth for years. And then, yeah. I feel like when you know you're done having kids, whether it's a boy or girl, you just know.
Yeah. And that's how I felt. I was like,
it's so weird because so we have 2 boys right now, and we have both said like, well, my husband has said like, no, we're done. Like we're done. Donezo. And I'm like, oh, ask me in like 4 years, you know.
Not done then.
But, yeah. So it's funny because this was the nursery and it just got converted into the office. And so like cleaning out all the baby stuff, I've been getting like on the fence, like, It's funny because I'm like, oh, toss it. Like with my firstborn, I'm like, oh, we got to save all this for the next baby. But all this stuff that we cleaned out, I'm like, oh, toss it, toss the crib, toss this. And like my cousin's having a baby in December. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to donate all this to her. Right. And I'm telling my husband, oh, I'm giving the sign to her. She wants it. And he's like, oh, like he's the one that's like
don't get rid of this.
Yeah. So it's so funny. I don't know. Because he's also said like, oh, we're cursed with boys. Like he does not think we would have a girl or, you know what I mean? But I don't know. We would definitely try, Janelle went through a whole method system that she did to get her girl.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah. She did
I did the gender swaying. We'll have to link it, but it's where you like eat certain foods to change your pH levels, and I mean it's
a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, she did a whole
bunch of stuff.
I just figured if I'm gonna try, I'm gonna freaking try.
Might as well go all in.
I'm gonna go out with a bang, and that's it. And then this way, I know in my heart, I did everything I could. But I also had to be 100% okay with obviously having that third boy.
A girl, yeah.
So I already had I had my mindset, and my pregnancies were all the same. So I was for sure that I thought it was a boy. Were your pregnancies all the same?
Like all the symptoms?
For the most part, yeah. I got deathly sick the first trimester, nausea, and like a cold sick. Like I felt like I was so sick the first, and then second and third I was coasting. Oh, it was always the first trimester that was really, really bad.
So what advice would you give some mamas who are having a hard time letting go of the dream daughter?
I think I would just say to just be grateful for what you have and just stay present with what you do have, right? Because, I mean, again, there are a lot of women out there who are trying and can't have the fact that we do and we're blessed. Just kind of have to be grateful for what we have, you know?
Count your blessings.
Absolutely.
Can I just tell a little story about that particular thing?
Yes.
Because I was on the fence for all those years and I really, really wanted a girl, and it was always weighing on my mind. Like whenever I would see a little girl around, I was always thinking of it. And, but I was going back and forth whether I wanted one or not. But I remember my son, he was 2, my youngest, or my second son, he was 2, and he got hit by a car. And immediately I thought, what an asshole. Like all I think about is I want to grow my family and have that little girl when I have 2 healthy sons right here with me that I'm super thankful for, that I love to death, you know, but I'm just, and he just got hit by a car, you know, and I just felt like it was a reality check. Like I needed to chill out, you know, and like you said, be thankful for what you have in this moment, and the fact that they are healthy, and the fact that they're alive, and you know.
Yep.
So
yeah, for sure. I mean, is your son okay? I mean, I'm assuming he's fine.
Yeah, he ended up being fine from it. Yeah, thank God.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he just got sent to the hospital for getting burns now. That's a different show.
You hit him with a car.
And now he's burned. What kind of podcast is this that I saw?
I'm like, okay, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no judging here. This is a
absolutely not.
Zone.
Absolutely.
I did not burn him, and I did not run him over. These are separate. These are separate things. Oh my God.
I didn't think that, by the way.
So what would you say has been one of your biggest struggles with your 3 boys running around? Because they're all, how many years apart are they?
They're all 3 years apart.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. And that wasn't planned. That worked out.
It did work out. I think my biggest struggle right now with them is they're in that preteen stage. So communication is really hard. It takes a lot of patience. I have to really catch myself because, you know, it's a lot of, yeah, no.
Like very short.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm like, all right. So I have to find different ways to communicate with them to get what I need to hear out, you know. When they were younger, I'm trying to think the hardest thing with, you know, they're really good kids. I don't really remember. I mean, obviously when you have newborns, it's hard because you don't know what they want or need, you know, but as they got older, toddler, they're great. Like they fight obviously, but it's nothing too crazy. They're not like beating each other up and giving each other black eyes and stuff like that. I don't like nagging. Maybe that's one of the things. Like I can't stand that. I don't like whining and stuff. So I nip that in the bud. Oh, you know what it is? I think outside influence would be the hardest for me. Right. Okay. So we raise our children to be loving and kind, you know, and then they go out into the real world and go to school and meet other kids at the playgrounds. And it's a whole different world. And, you know, my youngest, I remember when he came home, he was like, you know what they need to teach at school, Mom? And I was like, what? He's like, they need to teach love. And I was like, dude, I'm like, you can't be saying, I mean, you can say that here at home, but don't say that anywhere else because you're going to get beat up. You know what I'm saying? Like someone's going to beat you up for saying this. But, you know, and I was proud and sad at the same time because he doesn't connect with anyone his age at school, you know, because that's what he's like. Everyone's so mean, you know, and thankfully I don't really have too much bullying going on. My sons definitely know how to stick up for themselves, but you know, they have had moments, you know, my youngest and my middle. My older, he's so like chill. Everyone kind of just leaves him alone. But my middle has a really big personality. He's gotten punched in the eye for nothing. Like some kid turned around and just, you know, so I think it would be outside influences would probably be the hardest for me. And having to deal with, you know, explaining other people's actions that we're, you know, that they're unfamiliar with at home, you know.
That's the hard part. That's really hard.
And how do you, well, I mean, we've talked about it amongst ourselves before, but to hear a different perspective, like how do you talk to your boys about outside influences or just how to not let it get in their head, if that makes any sense?
Like, do you tell them ahead of time before it happens, or do you talk about it after an event happens?
Both. So some things I can forecast, so I'll have a conversation with them. And sometimes I'm more reactive because I wasn't prepared for a boy that was 5 years old to tell my son that he wanted to live with him and buy him gifts. And I wasn't ready for that. I didn't know, you know, so yeah. I had to ask a lot of questions because that's very young, you know.
Yeah. And
also, you know, children don't see things the way that we do. So it might, in my mind, come off as, okay, hold on, what's going on, you know? Right. When with them, they're just trying to be really good friends. So I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for... I wasn't ready for the call from the school about my kid being the bad kid in school. I wasn't ready for that. So because he's so good at home that I wasn't ready. I'm sorry.
Is this your older son or which son?
My middle.
Middle.
So when I got a call from the principal, it was almost like I was so taken back. I'm like, is it, you know, initially moms are always supposed to defend their child. Mm-hmm. But in my household, the way that I was raised, it's like you always have to respect your elders. So the fact that I was getting a call from an elder, I was like livid. I mean, I didn't take anything out on him, but it was definitely something that I didn't even think I had to prepare him for that because I thought that he was this good kid, you know, and not that he's not, you know, it's just he's a creative, so he doesn't fit in the standard ways of school, I guess you can say, you know. He's an artist, so it was hard with him because they're like, he's very immature, and I'm like, but he's 5, what does that mean? You know, I'm like, I don't even understand.
Right?
Yeah, because you're like, 5-year-olds are immature.
Yeah, what was he supposed to
like, I have a 5-year-old.
How mature is a 5-year-old supposed to be?
And then to put that standard on a 5-year-old is like, okay, really? No?
Yeah.
Let him be a 5-year-old, please.
that's how I feel. I've been through quite a bit with the school system.
That's like when my kid's a dinosaur at school and they're like, he was a dinosaur all day. And I'm like, what do you want?
Yeah. That's what they do.
Yeah.
You can't be a dinosaur.
Only at home.
Did they complain about that? Oh my God.
Yeah. The teacher said she had to take him out of class and talk to him separately and tell him he can't act like that. And I'm like, okay.
But you want them to use their imagination, but he can't use it.
I know it's very difficult. So I just try to support my son at home, my children at home, and make sure that they know this is a safe space, and I have their back. So I definitely make sure I listen to them first before going with the with whatever the principal or guidance counselors say.
Would that fall under like a low of? I feel like that's. I don't want to say being a boy mom because I feel like that could be any gender. Do you have any particular highs and lows of what life looks like as being a boy mom?
I'm trying to think. I guess I don't really have anything to compare it to because
I was just gonna
say have.
Well,
but
I mean, if you have a niece and you say you have friends with daughters and you see their kind of life, and then you see like maybe, for example, when I would have bath time, it was always like G.I. Joes and dinosaurs in my bathtub, and my boys were always running around naked. There was balls and wieners everywhere, and it wasn't weird, like to me it wasn't weird, but in different households that I've seen where they have girls, they're not running around naked like that. Or if they have boys and girls, it's not so openly everybody's just naked running around, and Barbie dolls in the bathtub instead of G.I. Joes, like things like that where it's just different.
I would say with our conversations, because I'm the only girl here, they do talk about like gross boy stuff, like I don't know, like farts or
number one for boys.
I'm just like, I'm good. Let's not do that right now. Or can I just leave first, okay? And then you guys can talk about this. Music is a big thing in our household. Sometimes the choice of songs that they choose to play, I wish they wouldn't play around me, but I'm so open that they just put whatever, and I'm just like, all right, no. I'm like, we can't listen to that. Like, listen to that on your own time. I'm like, I don't want to share this experience with you. That's it. Those are those things that make it awkward for me.
Now, is it like for those songs, is it because they're like vulgar or they're cheesy or like what it like, or it's just not your style or?
No, it's vulgar. It's like, it's sexual, everything. We love hip hop music. So everything is very like.
So they're in there playing WAP and you're like, no.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, do you want to hear me do that? Let's roll reverse.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So you had an episode, or I don't know if it was an episode on your podcast about building a solid bond with your boys. Was it between you and your sons, like that mother-son bond, or was it a sibling brother bond? Or can you?
So there were two that were up on there, but one is me and my sons. I take them out individually. I try to take them out like maybe once a month, each of them, and we just go out and spend some quality time. I kind of get to know them more because it's hard with three of them to give them all the attention that they need. So we'll go out one-on-one. I call it special day at my house. And then the other one was for them to definitely have some time. So sometimes I'll make my oldest take the younger one for pizza or something like that. Yeah, so they can hang out. And I want them to have a good, strong relationship as brothers.
That's awesome. Do you allow... for your dates with your sons, do you allow them to choose the place that they want to go, or do you come up with the ideas all the time? Or
I would let them pick a place, but for now, because they're younger, they like when I plan the whole thing for them.
They're like, whatever, let's go.
Yeah, and I plan it. Like I will go get donuts at their special, whatever they like. I make sure that I cater to what they like.
That's so cute.
It's fun.
So I like details, so I want to hear exactly how you do this. Is
Yeah,
this like a
this is
full
our
day?
detailed. This one over here.
Is this like a full day, or is this like a couple hours alone, like that you get to yourself? Is this a weekday? Is this a weekend? Is this
You're so cute.
school? Do they, is it after school? What the hell do you do with the other kids? Tell me everything.
So it's all of the above, actually. It kind of depends on what's going on. So, for instance, when my son turned 13, his favorite rapper was Logic. And Logic was in Chicago. I never traveled with my oldest before. So I was like, you know what? Let's go to Chicago. So we went to Chicago and he's also a producer. So I wanted to inspire him as well and encourage him in his music. So we went to Chicago for the first time, and I planned a little vacation for us. And it was just me and him, and we traveled. My youngest, it was just a day in New York City. It was a weekend, and we just hit everything that he liked. Like, his favorite breakfast is croissants. So I took him to this a popular croissant spot that had like all these different croissants, red velvet and fruity pebbles and stuff. So he got that, and then ramen is his favorite. So we just spent the whole day in the city just talking and bonding. That's so whatever, it depends on whatever is going on. Like, if I see that it's something that they would be into, then I'll plan my special days around that.
And this is once a week or once a month or
Once a month.
Once a month, once a quarter, whenever I feel it. We have a connection with our kids. So whenever I'm like, you know what, it's been a while, let me look. Let me see what's going on with you,
Has it been affected since we're in this pandemic and a lot of things are closed and stuff? How have you been doing it with that? Like, are you still doing it, or it's on pause, or?
It's on pause, especially because of the summer. They've been with my in-laws the whole summer, which is great for me. But they have like a basketball court and a swimming pool, so it just made sense for them to spend the summer over there because they'll be able to run around and be safe. Yeah. Over here, I don't really have that. The parks were closed and stuff, but it definitely affected. I haven't been able to do much, but they come back this week, so I'm going to start planning again. We're going to start working on vision boards and stuff like that. Normally around this time, that's what we do.
You guys do vision boards for the year? I love that.
Yeah.
So Kathryn, where are you again?
Where do you live?
Weehawken, New Jersey.
Okay.
Like right across from Manhattan.
That's awesome. I know you're like, we jump over to Chicago.
I know.
And I'm like, jump over to the next city over.
But that works too. It's whatever. You can do it in the house and watch them, or bake or watch a movie, makes popcorn. My middle one loves to make his favorite popcorn, which is popcorn and yeast, and loves to watch TV. And that's like our bonding moment, It's whatever they like.
Yeah. So your vision boards, do you do that every summer, like right before they start school, or what's your method with that?
I do it like probably September to start the school year, and then New Year. And if we need it in between, then I'll do that as well. Depends on how the energy is. Like if it's stagnant, sometimes they'll do vision boards and it'll just stay there on the wall and it does nothing. And it's because it has to mean something to you, So if I see that it's stagnant, then I'll just be like, okay, let's do another one.
Yeah.
And where do they get their pictures from? Is it like still, because like, back in the day it was like magazines and stuff. And I feel like now
everyone has
magazines.
Pinterest.
Yeah. Are you printing them off the computer? Like,
yep.
Are they drawing it? What?
All of it. They can draw it if they want. Majority of it is, I still actually buy magazines. Like I'll buy each of them a magazine. That's our preparation for the vision boards. And then we'll print out the rest, whatever they can't find. And then they'll draw letters, like whatever quotes and stuff that they want, they'll do that too.
And is this, when you create it with them, do you tell them, hey, we're going to plan for this year? Or is this like 5 years lifetime vision board? Like, what do you?
I'll start off probably quarter. So school year for this September, I'll be like, okay, what do we want to accomplish last quarter before we go into the new year? What do you want to finish? And then we'll do another one in December.
I love it. Have a vision board party.
Yeah, I used to do them all the time.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I used to do them with kids.
I love
That's
that.
so cool.
Yeah, it's fun. I love like hearing the kids' dream. I did one with these kids in high school. Actually, they were seniors, and I ran into the high school kid maybe like a year or two later, and he was like, "I did everything on my vision board," and I was like,
Oh,
"You
wow.
did?" I'm like, "That's amazing!" Like, because I don't even do everything on my vision board sometimes. So I was like, "That's awesome." They're amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, because you have 3 boys, do you feel like they're all mama's boys, or do you have one particular and the other ones like are closer to their dad, or how does that work with you guys? They're all mama's boys?
Yeah, I feel
They're
like
all mama's
that's the best part of being a boy mom, I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, they are all mama's boys.
Love their mama.
They do. Yeah.
And girls just go right to the dad after you did all that work, all that praying, and then they don't want nothing to do with you when daddy gets home. So enjoy the love.
How does your husband feel about them being all mama's boys, or do they have like a good bond with him too?
No, they have a great bond with him too. He used to get upset about it, but now he's better because they're older. So they bond over sneakers and clothes now. So I think I start to get sad. I'm like, but wait, are you guys forgetting about me?
What happened to me?
Yeah.
So does it get easier or harder as they grow older?
I think it's just different. I think it gets easier. You just have different worries, you know?
Yeah.
Because now there's drugs, there's sex, there's other things to think about. Yes,
That's
driving.
true. Yeah. So speaking of sex, do you allow them to date?
I do actually.
In her head.
Okay. Do you allow all 3 of them to date, even your 10-year-old? Oh my God. Tell us about
I
that.
do. I mean, it does, because it doesn't mean anything. Like my youngest, he was 9 and he had a girlfriend. I'm like, well, what does that mean to you?
Right.
And he's like, I don't know. He's like, I like her. And I'm like, what do you like? What is it about her that you like? And he's like, she's funny. And then I'm like, so what do you guys do? What does it mean if she's your girlfriend? Like, what are you guys doing now? He's like, nothing. They would just text each other on the phone. And if that's your girlfriend and that's all you're doing, I'm fine.
That's what you think a girlfriend is, I'll take it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, do your little thing, whatever. No, but if it went further than that, then we would have some problems. But it's just texting. So again, I try to keep it into the perspective of the child and where they are, So he was 9. I'm like, well, what does it mean to you first before I start bugging out and putting everything that I think a girlfriend and boyfriend is onto you at 9,
Right.
That's a good way to look at it, though, because I feel like as parents, a lot of times we have to take ourselves to how we were at 9 or where their thought process is before we just bug out. And they're like, wait a minute, Mom, I didn't even know that's what you do when you have a girlfriend and you gave them all the business.
Exactly.
Give them all the ideas.
Exactly. They're like, oh, so that's what it is. I'm like, that's not going to happen to me. I'm like, what is it to you?
So what about for the older ones? Do you allow them to take their girlfriends on dates? I mean, I know you have a 16-year-old. How do you feel about that? Have they brought any girls home?
They have not, thankfully. So I'm grateful. I think they know that mama's a little crazy. So they're like, let me make sure that the girl is worth it before I bring her home. So 16, and also because we've been in quarantine, it hasn't given him the opportunity to really get out and bring someone home, so I was saved a little bit.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. And my middle one doesn't want one.
No, he doesn't.
He's like, I'm good. I'm like, me too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What are the perks of being the only female in the house?
Oh, the love. They give me so much love. So much love because I'm mama. Like, they're always giving me hugs and kisses randomly, which is great.
No.
The 16-year-old, not too much. Every now and then he'll do like a little hug. Like, yeah, I love you, Mom. You know what I mean?
What's that about with these older? I have a 14-year-old, and I was just telling him today, like, hey, my hugs are getting limited here. Like, what's going on? And he gets all weirded out. Like,
I don't know.
But then when he wants a hug, he try to do it like jokingly and like be all over me. And it's weird. The teenagers are weird.
They
Even
are.
in private, they're like just pitter patter hug. It's not just like a public hug that they pitter patter. I would think even like at home they'll give you like a tight squeeze. No, they're still weird at home.
No, my younger two are fine. It's my older one. He's a little, because he's 16, I guess. I don't know. But my other two, they don't care where we are. They're hugging me, holding my hand. I'm the one that's like, can I have my hand back, please? It's getting hot.
Your sticky hand.
Clammy hand.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, because
Go ahead.
you have 3 boys.
Yes.
Does your bathroom ever smell like a urinal?
Thankfully, not anymore. It used to. When they were younger, it would drive me up a wall.
And what would you do? What did you do about it? Because ours is starting. Yeah.
I started to make them clean it themselves.
Oh, that's not like a good clean for me.
No, but
she's dealing with a 5-year-old and a 1-year-old, so that's
okay.
hard right now.
Yeah, let me think.
He's like all over. He's all over the place with his.
Did you use a Cheerios situation?
No, it's not even that he can't aim. It's like, say he's like having too much fun outside and you see him doing the dance and you're like, get your ass to the bathroom kind of thing. Hurry before you pee yourself. And he like still like gets closer and closer and he's like, okay. And like as soon as he whips it out, it just starts coming out, but it goes like all over.
Oh.
That's hilarious.
I'm there right now.
But I feel like that even happens with the girls, because the baby does that too. Like she'll hold it, and then as soon as I pull down her chonies, she'll start peeing as I'm.
Oh my God. Okay, so it's not just a boy thing.
It's just not. Yeah, it's not just the boy thing. Just try to be, I guess, remind them before they start doing it. I know it's a hassle.
Yep. That's parenting. We got to remind them over and over and over.
Thank you so much, Kathryn, for coming
Thank
on
you.
our show and shedding light on the realities of the boy mom life. Where can people find you on Instagram?
I'm at Moms Unwined Podcast on Instagram. Yes.
And you guys check her out.
We'll link it below.
Yes, like and subscribe to her podcast because it's amazing.
Yes.
And her boys are in the entertainment business. So are they models or actors, or what do they do?
They're actually all of the above. As of recently, they've just been working on music. My oldest is a producer, and my middle one, he's an MC. He raps. So they have an album actually coming out, another album coming out in hopefully the fall, or
Wow.
So they have their first album out. I'll send you guys links to it because it's cute. Maybe your kids will like it. It's, it's real hip hop for kids.
How is it mama approved?
Very mama approved. It's all inspirational and positive. So you'll be good.
Are you like a momager?
I am.
Nice.
I'm like reluctantly, yes.
So we're gonna have you come back on and talk all about that.
Yeah, for
life.
sure. That sounds interesting.
It's a interesting, I guess, journey.
It must keep you busy.
Sounds fun though.
Yeah.
It can be. It can be.
Oh yeah,
I'm not like a
It sounds like there's a lot of juice there.
little bit. Because moms are, everyone's different, and I'm super laid back, and some of them aren't, and it gives me a headache, and I'm just like, it's gonna be okay. Like a lot of moms want to live through their children. I feel.
I could see
That bothers me.
for sure. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay. Well, we'll have to have you on again. Okay.
Yes, for sure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, ladies.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us. If you want to catch up on our previous episodes, visit mamasmimosas.com, where you'll get access to all of our podcast show notes, our YouTube videos, and our private Facebook group where we chat with you about each episode and host live Q&A with our favorite mom tribe. Can't wait to see you there.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us. If you want to catch up on our previous episodes, visit mamasmimosas.com, where you'll get access to all of our podcast show notes, our YouTube videos, and our private Facebook group, where we chat with you about each episode topic and host live Q&As with our fave mom tribe. Can't wait to see you there.